All right, there we go. So what we're trying for this IBT, and obviously we're going to refine our process. We had a mistake in the link that was in board effect. I don't know what happened, but it happened. So what we're doing is that within the Zoom environment for this last year, and we continue to use a format called webinars, right? We use it for our campfire chats last night also. And the webinar format has the ability to have two groups of people. And if you look at your participants tab on your Zoom screen, you'll see panelists and you'll see attendees. So attendees can see and hear everything we're doing, but the only panelists are going to be the IBT. And we talked about this at Exec Council, and the reason you can probably see, right? Because we love having the region be pleased to be participate and active in the board meetings, but we started to feel like the IBT was lost in a sea of faces. And we think it's really important that the IBT members be on screen. But the cool thing is with this format is that if anyone on region presidents or vice presidents, or if someone from the public wants to comment, we can move them into the meeting, just like we just went through for the board. So in the future, we'll probably have a little different process for doing this, but I want everyone who may be watching to understand that why we just have the IBT on screen, but that the region presidents are still actively involved. They're still on the Board Effect portal, which is the software that we as a board use to have all of our agendas and meetings. They see everything that the IBT directly sees. Also for the IBT members and region vice presidents in Board Effect, we got some feedback last year that with all the different attachments and reference material, the agenda gets really, really long. Like today's would probably be 200 pages. And so what we've started to do is that you'll notice in your Board Effect platform that there's a meeting book, which has the documents you're going to need to vote on or specific reports, but there's an attachment tab. And those are the reference material that if we put it in line, it'd be a very, very long document. On the public side, for our members who are watching on airstreamclub.org/IBT, that packet is everything because they don't have the ability to have attachments. So we're all seeing the same thing. It just looks a little bit different. So bear with us, ask questions if you have questions. All right, so Terry, first of all, can you call the meeting to order? And if you could do roll call, please.
Yes, good morning. President McHenry.
Present.
Vice President Millie O'Donnell.
Present.
EC member John Becker.
Present.
EC member Jim Cock.
Present.
EC member Kathy Giese.
Present.
EC member Marcia Howes.
Present.
EC member Jenny Schnettler. She's muted, but I can see her. Jenny,
Yes,
you're
waved. Yeah.
gotcha. Treasurer Per Hamquist.
Present.
Me, Secretary. Immediate past President Ty Mott.
Present.
Region 1 President Bard Fuller. I can see
on the line. I don't know if he can either show his camera.
Let's assume for now he's there. I see his.
I can see him.
He
Yep.
seems to be muted.
Okay.
Keep going.
Region 2 President Gary Russo.
Here.
Region 3 President Christine Baum.
Present.
Region 4 President Fred Keel.
Present.
Region 5 President Artie Martin.
Present.
Region 6 President Jan Hevener.
Present.
Region 7 President Ginger Slattery.
Present.
Region 8 President Rick Everson.
Present.
Region 9 President Nancy Fitzgerald.
Her hand is raised. I don't know what
Okay.
happened.
Got it. Region 10 President Florence Tremoni.
Present.
Region 11 President Stephen Parr.
Present.
Region 12 President Abe Hernandez.
Present.
Parliamentarian Lori Grassi.
Morning.
Morning. Corporate Manager Lori Plummer.
Present.
We are all here, Eric.
All right, thank you, Terry. The first thing I want to do is I want to report out closed session. So in the rare times that we have closed sessions, they're related to issues, either of personnel issues, which are not appropriate to discuss, in the live public event, or they're related to confidential issues. This is a little bit of both. And so I want to report out closed session. I'm going to ask Christine to kind of help me talk this through. So one of the things that as a board, we felt it was really important to agree on was what process we're going to be following as a board to take a comprehensive look at how we elect our officers. And the beauty is that we've already gone through it once, right? There are things that we acknowledge that we did right, things in terms of the bylaws and policy and execution, things we acknowledge that we didn't do right, and things that we as a board acknowledge that, we maybe want to optimize. There's a report from our recruitment oversight committee led by Mona Heath that's in one of the attachments or online. That's some of the stuff. That report, though, was done in April, which was before the voting concluded. And so what we've decided as a board unanimously is that this is a process we had anticipated using a while ago, is that we're going to get a structured feedback from the recruitment oversight committee from Mona. And then I'm going to be forming a special committee that is loosely titled recruitment process review. And that special committee will work with the recruitment oversight committee over the next year to get us ready for the next election, which is 2 years from now. The reason why it's a special committee and not just the standing committee, the recruitment oversight committee by bylaw is structured to basically implement the policies and bylaws that this board has agreed to and voted on. They're not chartered to develop new bylaws or policies. This election process review is the latter. They're going to take a look at sort of what worked, what didn't work. They'll work with this recruitment committee, come up with some proposals, bring it back to the board a couple of times. We'll talk about it in Jackson Center at our strategy meeting. And then we hope that the legislation will roll out over the next year. I've asked Christine Baum to lead that committee. Christine, if you give a little thumbnail of what we're going to be doing and who's on your committee so far. Thanks. Uh-oh, I got lost Christine.
She's
Muted.
she's on screen, but she's not there. She's
Can you hear me?
Yes, we got you.
Okay, I'm sorry, but my screen is for some reason in the safe driving mode. And if I say to leave it, it tells me it's going to leave the webinar. So I don't know. I don't understand technology. I'm sorry about that, folks, but I'm excited to lead this committee. So far, who has volunteered to help on this committee as we work out through, I'm sure, lively discussions and debates as to how to handle the election again 2 years from now. The people who have volunteered are Millie O'Donnell, Florence. Oh, I don't want to massacre her last name. I want to say Tremoni.
That's right.
Okay, good. Thank you. Lori Grassi, Larry Madden has agreed. Hopefully Mona will continue. I spoke to Brad Briggs and gave him the unfortunate news that we need him because he's the new CBL chair. And I said that we will probably be proposing some changes to bylaws and constitution. So we'll need him to help write the motions and make sure that we're doing everything the way we're supposed to. And he agreed to help. Ginger already texted me after the meeting, asked me a very good question. I would encourage anyone else who has an interest, please reach out to me or Eric. Tell us that you would like to serve on the committee. But even more importantly, if you don't want to serve on the committee, which I well understand, it's more meetings, more time, please think about the things that you want to make sure are included as we work on our election revision process. And send me an email, send Eric an email, send us both an email, so we are sure to include that. I hope that we can hold our first meeting within the next month or so. I would like us to pretty much have it completely outlined so that we can report at the strategy session what we see. But thankfully, with Florence agreeing to hopefully co-chair with me, if we do not finish all the work by July 31st, which is when I know I roll off the IBT, that the group can still continue under Florence's leadership because she is an even number president. So please, I'll take any questions, but even more encourage you to send me or call me with suggestions or to call Eric. Thank you. And sorry, I can't get my video to work on this end.
Thanks, Christine. All right. Yeah, contact Christine directly. We're going to keep moving through the agenda. It's been my intent, and I'll talk about it a little bit later, to keep our meetings to 2 hours. So first, let's do approval of minutes. Terry, over to you.
Yes, all of the minutes have been on board effect. If you have any corrections or suggestions, I welcome them. We're looking at minutes from May 11th, June 15th, and July 13th. If I hear no comments, we will mark them as approved. So let's see a show of hands if you have concerns or comments.
All right, we're good to go. So
Thank
approved.
you.
Thank you, everyone. Unanimous. Okay, President's report, it's on board effect. A couple things I want to add, though. Oh, where did I start? First of all, Lori Plummer and I, as some of you might know, were invited to represent the club at the annual Airstream's dealership meeting. And this is where Airstream Inc., they invite, I think, all their dealers across North America, Europe, and Asia to come together. They give awards out in terms of best service, 5-star, 5-rivet awards, best sales, things like that. It was about a 4-day event, and we were asked to come in and be part of that. And the one thing I want to just tell people about that, which is incredibly important, on how Airstream and the dealers are increasingly viewing us, is a really important part of what they describe as the customer experience with the brand, right? I think this kind of makes sense when we kind of know this, right? When you buy an Airstream, the sales process is really important that goes smoothly. You get the deal you expect to get, blah, blah, blah. It's really, really important that later we get the service that we want. Airstream spent about half of their meeting talking about service, incentives, some training things coming in. I won't go into that. But the last part of that customer experience is, what do you do with your Airstream? And what about this Airstream community that they've joined? And Airstream, the dealers, are starting to understand really that we are that. For a lot of pretty much everyone listening to this call, we love our trailers, our touring coaches, and we will probably stay with Airstream because of the experience we're having as part of the club. So good news on that. There'll be more coming out later, but one of the action items, actually there's 2 action items that came out I want to share with the board. One is that I'd say half the dealers were familiar with our club. Half of them had sort of heard about it. And by dealers, I mean, these are the owners and general managers, the people that own the dealerships. About the other half, they kind of knew about us, but not really. After our discussions and my presentation, I think Laura and I were, I won't say besieged with people, but dealers saying, yeah, we really want to work with you guys. And so one of the things that we're trying to do then is that we want to connect the region presidents to the dealer owners, right? A lot of our local clubs have relations with the local dealer, but the problem is that dealership may span multiple local clubs. And one of the asks that Airstream had for us is that, can we help coordinate some of that interaction with them? And here's the typical scenario. A dealer in an area may be in an area where 3 or 4 of our local clubs are in that dealership. And that dealership gets asked randomly by club members, all well-intentioned, for help. That dealership only has a limited amount of resources and is asking us to help prioritize how they apply those limited resources into the region. And so I'll be asking each of you region presidents, and Laura and I will be connecting with the dealer owners about how to solidify that. By the way, some of you are already doing this, so we know that, and thank you. But we want to broaden this across the club. And that's the one thing the dealers wanted from us also, was that to help us let them know how they can help, right? So good news on that. The second thing I just want to add is that Lori and I did our campfire chat last night. We switched to 2. We had heard feedback that just one time frame, it invariably is not good for the other coast, right? 3 hours difference. And so we did one at 7 p.m. Eastern and one at 7 p.m. Pacific. I think we had well over 200 people on the combined campfire chats. The first one was more attended. The second one was at the same time frame that the presidential debate was on the Republican side, and not that we were trying to do counter programming, but we had a lighter attendance in the second one. Some of the things that came out of the campfire chat, I wanted to share with you the key issues. I know some of you were there. Thank you, Ginger. Thank you, John, or someone else was on there. I remember who else. Russo was on there. A lot of questions about more caravans, access to more caravans, short caravans, ability to get into events. Join the club, can't get into any events. How do I do that? And some updates we gave, of course, in the Blue Beret magazine, bulletin, and blog. Other random things is that I want to thank. We have some new standing committee chairs. Ray Combs is going to take over for John Becker. Debbie Hammer is going to take over for Bob Caldwell for ethics and grievance. And Brad Briggs, as many of you know, has agreed to take over from Tom Smithson. We don't have a chair for publication. I think the Smithsons are looking forward to not having a lot of club business. So Hedda, who was our prior publications chair, had given notice she's stepping down. So we're going to be looking for a publication chair. One thing that we have realized, and thank you, John Becker, wherever you are on this screen, is that trying to switch standing committee chairs in July, August is horrible. Everyone's running around. We may have new officers. And so we're going to probably move the standing committee chairs switching over to the January timeframe. And so because of that, Debbie Hammer, Ray, Brad Briggs are going to be taking over on January 1st. All right. Next thing is legislative calendar. So one of the things that I'm trying to do is to keep these meetings a little more strategically oriented in terms of what we bring to the board, what we vote on. In the past years, it's what I would call over the transom, which means it's a kind of a term where things just happen. We want to plan those out a little bit better. So there could be motions or things that we want to pull together with other motions and things and plan them out over time. This will hopefully allow us to keep our meetings to less than 2 hours. Like, for example, we notice there's a couple of big items. We may request that the next one gets pushed out 3 months, or we do electronically. So that's going on. The exec council are the ones that are working with that. And of course, just having the IBT on screen, but allowing region vice presidents to join in by raising their hand. The last thing I want to share is that when we looked at doing this reorganization 2 years ago, the constitutional change, we realized that with an expanded exec council, we can do a better job and should do a better job connecting with our standing committees and intra clubs. And so you'll see on the board effect, there's a couple of errors, but basically for every standing committee and for every intra club, we now have an exec council liaison. And that liaison is responsible for working with the leader of that standing committee or that intra club to make sure that if they have needs or reports, they get them onto the agenda and help them with things. So we're really excited about that. The other thing that isn't on here is that we have a number of key projects going on in our club. And again, with the expanded exec council, I've just been so happy that everyone has stepped up to take on little small projects, be they harvest host, or be they looking at a concept of an RV park, or be they looking at something around the website redesign. And we'll share more about that later, but thank you, EC, for stepping up and helping out move some of these projects forward. I think that's it for my president's report. Let's go now to other executive council reports. We'll start with you, Millie.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't have a heck of a lot. I am enjoying being the liaison to Grapes and Grains. That was kind of a natural thing for me. And for Stella's sisters, the new president of Grapes and Grains came into the clubhouse office, the headquarters office, and I got to meet he and his wife. We had a nice chat. I think that's it's a fun idea to have the liaisons because we can really make more progress. Also, I'm working on a great partnership with RV Destinations magazine. If you're not familiar with them, I highly recommend them. I went ahead and got a subscription to check them out, and they post some amazing videos and blogs of places that they've been. There's not a lot of advertising in it. It's not a lot of fluff. It's real pros and cons to different places they've experienced, and they share their experience with their subscribers. They have agreed to partner with us in exchange for, they will be able to use their content in our blog or magazine or both in exchange for just a little bar, a click bar where you can get more information about RV Destination magazine by clicking here. So it's a a partnership without cost to the club, but with much benefit for our members. Really excited about that. We should be signing our final agreement on that next week, and we'll do it for 6 months and see how everybody likes it. Dying to see what your feedback is. So please, please respond and let us know what you think, what you like about it, what you'd like to see. That's about it for me.
Thanks, Billy. And we'll do it sort of randomly. Whoever wants to report out next on the exec council of projects they're working on or any updates, just raise your hand and we'll kind of go through it quickly. Who's next? All right, Terry, go ahead.
Good
And then-
morning. So my roles are connecting with the membership committee, and we have a fine report from them this morning to share. Also liaison with Pride Streamers and with Ford Motor Company for some ideas we have with them. So those are my roles, and I appreciate that. If you have any comments on, I'll be posting these minutes from this meeting within about a week. So if you have any comments about that, please reach out to me within a couple of weeks so that we can finalize these minutes. That's it for me.
Thanks, Terry. I see Jim Cock and then Pear.
I can't.
Good morning.
Here.
I'm sorry, what?
Go ahead.
Okay, good morning. Two things. I'm staying closely in touch with the ham radio community. I'm involved every week, twice with them, and I think things are going pretty well. I'm going to be encouraging them to get an article in the versions of the Blue Beret as soon as we can. The technical committee chair, I had a good talk with Dick Martin. I think after talking with a couple of y'all, it'd be great to not hurry on that, but rather let's do a posting in our media. Let's cast a wide net and get some people involved that we've not had involved before. There's a lot of talent out there. I will post haste, drum up a job description, and we'll get a synopsis of that for the article. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Pear and then Kathy.
I'll give an update on a couple of activities I'm involved with. So while in Rock Springs, I met up with Misty Roach, the current president for Future Streamers. She gave me an overview of where things are. It sounds like things have come a long way. There's more work ahead, including filling out their current slate of officers for the next term. Misty reported that the Future Streamers have a meeting next week to discuss rally planning, Ronald McDonald House, and the retention of teen membership. The Future Streamers collected aluminum tabs worth $67 and they're looking to match that with Ronald McDonald House. This fall, Future Streamers will be going to the Ronald McDonald House in Kansas City, Missouri to work on details for the 2024 International Rally and to help serve and make meals for while visiting. Misty Roach and family will be co-leading the Smidge on the Ridge in 2025. This is a shorter caravan, only 10 days and 3 moves, which works well for families and where people are still working. And then Boondockers, I've chatted with officers from the Boondockers Interclub. It looks as if this interclub has hit a bit of a lull. They have an open and moderated Facebook group. It is doing exceptionally well with over 2,500 members. Not all of these Facebook group members are part of Boondockers or WBCCI, but it shows that there is a great level of interest in boondocking in general. The Interclub itself has about 300 dues-paying members. We are now at the fork in the road. Should we reclassify this as an interest group focused on sharing information about boondocking, or should we put more emphasis on boondocking as an activity within WBCCI? I am in favor of the latter. There are lots of resources out there that provide you information, but our strength is really the in-person experience. In the coming months, I plan to meet with the current interclub officers and with region presidents to discuss what the future holds for this activity. With regards to the website revamp effort, we now have a committee looking into this. For those of you who know me, software is my livelihood and my home turf. The first phase of this activity is to conduct an in-depth inventory of what we actually have on our site. This could take a few months for us as volunteers. It's actually bigger than we thought. We have already started digging from multiple angles, from presentation to what goes under the hood. We are getting good support from the ITC. The plan is to provide the IBT with an update about the state of our current website at the Q2 meeting. And the current team members are myself, John Becker, Ty Mott, Dick Martin, Teresa Teague, and Tim Lucas. If you have tech-savvy folks in your region, especially people that understand under-the-hood website technology, please suggest that they reach out to our committee. And lastly, saving the best. The last item I'd like to talk about is the Finance Committee. We now have 3 very qualified financial team members on board: Ellen Rabb, retired CFO, Christine Kirk, CPA, and Ken Johansson, CPA. Since my term began just over 3 weeks ago, we've had 3 discussions. The 2 most recent ones were quite passionate. It felt like I was trying to manage 3 stallions. As many of you know, the Finance Committee is very new. Its charter was recently approved by the IBT. The implications of establishing this committee are a greater level of club financial oversight and club support by internal experts in an area we haven't paid sufficient attention to. Based on their experience and background knowledge, they believe the following activities are integral to carrying out our responsibilities under the charter. Review monthly, quarterly, and annual financial statements, along with any budget variances. Detailed review of our budgets along with recommendation for approval or rejection by the board. As needed, recommend excess or ancillary spending restrictions to the board for action based on financial results versus budget. When instructed to initiate an audit, select a third-party provider, receive the audit report and audit findings, develop a plan to address any ongoing process issues. Establishment and publishing of banking and investment guidelines of internal control, typical of like-sized organizations. Currently, there's a significant degree of concern from our experts that we are not in as good shape as we think we are. Here are some of their notes in attempting to raise our awareness. The reserve balance in July 2018 was $937,000. Before the reduction to purchase the second building in Jackson Center, it was $462,000, a reduction of $475,000. On top of that, we took an additional $120,000 from our reserves to finance part of the purchase of the second building in Jackson Center. When that is included, the bleed of the reserve over 6 years has been $595,000. Our revenue has grown 68% since 2018. And our expenses have grown at a rate faster than revenue. Expenses have grown at 73% since 2018. This is not sustainable. This has led to a cumulative loss of $424,000 over the same period, thus explaining the reduction in reserves. We do not yet have a capital expense plan for the club, but we're aware of a few things that are coming our way. The requested upfitting of the recently purchased building in Jackson Center is projected to be in the 60 to 80K range. The cost of revamping our website is unknown at this time, but it will most certainly not be a 4-figure number. Those combined expenses will further draw from our diminished reserves. Some of these numbers may not be exactly right, but they are directional. They are based on the information we have. They basically paint a bigger financial picture for us. These highlights are consistent with the points our previous international treasurer, Matt Hackney, made during our May 2023 strategy meeting. Bottom line is this: we currently have little margin for error. Some of the actions. Go ahead, Eric.
So is this your financial, is this 5.1 also? It kind of feels like it is.
Yeah. So I apologize if I sort of drifted over. If you'd like,
go ahead and finish, and we'll just check off the financial.
Okay. Yes. So some of the actions proposed by our knowledge experts include: we have not conducted an audit of our books in a considerable period, as spelled out in our bylaws. We recommend that the club authorizes us to initiate one. Have the IBT consider putting a hold or freeze on all non-critical expenses, capital and operating, until we can create a course of action that has a positive outcome for our revenue and expense. Work with Lori Plummer on the closure of the Rock Springs Rally budget and determine what to do if there's an excess or a shortfall. Work with Lori in closing the year-end results of our last fiscal year that ended on July 31st. Work with Lori to understand the details of the budget, replan a new year budget that creates a positive result, has a plan for capital and future expenses, that understands what can be done with the new building mortgage to see if payments can be accelerated or not. And then report obviously out to the IBT and EC on findings and recommend the recommended path forward. The good news is that we, the club, have support from our leadership, our headquarters, and from our financial experts to move us forward to a better future. This is obviously a lot of financial information to digest. I will submit the notes I used for this verbal update to the recording secretary for inclusion in our minutes. That's
And I think, Per, when you guys have some more time, I think you're probably going to go, just for everyone, you're probably going to go back to a written report that has the chart seen for the
yeah,
last.
absolutely. There just wasn't enough time to
Understood.
compile that information. As you know, we also are down one staff member in Jackson Center, so some of the information is not all put together.
Thanks, Per. Okay,
Yeah.
Kathy next, then Millie, and then John, and then Marcia. And this is just exec council quick reports, by the way.
Oh, so sorry.
This one is going to be quick. For those in the audience that aren't aware, we have been talking with Harvest Host. We currently have a courtesy parking program through Airstream and our airstreamclub.org. It's been underutilized, even though it's a fabulous tool and benefit for our members. The reason why we think it hasn't been used is it's a little bit clunky. Harvest Hosts is the expert in that field, and we have sent them a letter of intent to partner with them and offer our Airstream Club members at no charge to them a membership to the courtesy parking hosts that currently offer a place to stay at no charge, usually in their field, their driveway, in front of their house, that sort of thing. Anyway, it's a really fun project. I'm thrilled to be working on it. Leanne Schultz is the CFO. She's in charge of corporate strategy and business development for Harvest Hosts. I've been communicating with her, and a lot of her team is out until after the upcoming holiday weekend. So I will have more information on it shortly. I was also asked to assist with the team that's going to be working with the Airstream only campgrounds. And my bad, I don't know where that committee is working right now or what they're doing, but I will be checking in with them to see how they're doing and what kind of goals they have with that team. And that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. I really appreciate you helping move this forward. Millie, then Marcia.
Yeah, I didn't have additional report for mine. I actually had a question on Pear's report. When we did the strategy session relative to working on the website, we were talking about having you do, or your committee, really just focus on the menu creation where it's easy to find things, make it easier to find things on the site. But your report makes it sound like you're doing a much bigger project. Am I missing something?
You're not missing something. You heard me correctly that we're digging a little bit deeper, because some of the stuff that we have on the website, if you try to understand what the members were complaining about, you have to have the context for any concerns that they have. A lot of people complain. I don't think it's just a matter of putting a new makeup on the website. I'm not suggesting a bigger project in terms of commitment financially for the club, but it would help if we have a better understanding of what we have under the hood. And it is actually more complex than I thought it was.
Okay. All right. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe we'll dig a little deeper into that. I had some questions as well at our next exec council meeting. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Marcia.
Yep, my update's very quick. I am a liaison for Caravan, and John has done a wonderful job getting me the background and the update on the strategy of that committee. I know we'll be changing the committee members, so I'll get some introductions in the next month or so. I'm working on getting introductions with indie streamers, which is my other liaison. The other update I wanted to add was with my procurement and supply chain background. I've been volunteering through Eric, of course, on some supplier discussions or vendor discussions, but I also have a request coming out of one of the members of the Colorado Club for him to get more involved in the vendors that we're selecting to bring to next year's international. So Lori, should I connect? That's Jeff Cross. Should I connect him with you to share some of his willingness to volunteer, or who should I connect him to?
Yeah, if you want to start with me, that'd be great. Then I can pass it on to the rally committee.
Okay, I'll send you an email with his info and everything. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
That's
Marcia.
everything.
Jenny, over to you. You're muted.
Two very quick things. Good morning, everyone. Very exciting stuff going on. I mean, like I'm popping, it's so exciting. The historical committee has gotten a real powerful group of people together. And what is exciting to me is the overflow when we consider the new project that we're working on. This is the second part. The RV park that we are looking into, it's not, of course, carved in stone or aluminum, but the RV park would be utilizing the 10 plus acres of property that currently the HQ building is on. And once the move over to the new space, currently a lot of people ask if they can park behind the HQ building, and we realized, maybe we really would like to offer that as a wonderful member benefit. In addition, Airstream is interested in partnering into this endeavor to utilize that also for their spillover for service customers. So we've been looking into that. We're just on the brink of creating a feasibility study. We found a company in Florida that is willing to help us and quite adept at positioning us in understanding all the logistics that will go into a project of this scope. So that's very, very exciting. And I want to stress one point and one point only. And this goes right to Pear's report. There will be no existing budgeted club funds utilized in the process of developing or completing this process. It will be standalone. Although it will be owned by Airstream Club International, it will not dip into any capital reserves or any funding that we presently have, because we understand this. We're not in the business of running an Airstream Club. It's got to run itself. So with that in mind, I'm all done.
Thank you much, Jenny. Okay, last one, Lori Grassi.
Good morning. I'm working with the Constitution and Bylaws Chair about a possible streamlining effort for reading upcoming motions presented to the IBT, and it's in early stages. That's all I have.
All right, thanks, everyone. Again, I just think it's wonderful. For me personally, as president, having a broader, highly engaged exec council is just wonderful. I hope you can see we're moving a lot of things forward, which is fantastic, that will benefit our members. Okay, corporate managers report, Lori.
Thank you, Eric. It is in board effect, but I just want to point out some highlights. There's been a lot going on, as everybody knows. We have a ton of things happening here. So first of all, I want to touch on the new Extreme Explorer membership that was just launched on July 1st. I learned yesterday we've actually had 66 new members join through that program. So that is wonderful. We are still working with Airstream Inc. on developing material that goes to the dealers. As Eric mentioned, when we were in Columbus, I felt like a little robot and repeating myself after the introduction of, hi, I'm Lori with the Airstream Club. Where are you? Do you know about the program? I mean, I was just in this flow of making sure. So a lot of them do. I'm excited about some of the potential work we can do with some of these additional, dealers as we work through this program. Our membership is still steady. People coming in. We're getting ready to launch on September 3rd. We'll be starting what we call our calendar folks will be renewing season will start. Calendar folks is that expire on January 1st. So if you see your fellow members, remind them to make that happen. Along with that, we have recently changed to what we call our payment platform. Last year we had launched the auto renewal system, or maybe year before. I'm sorry, I can't keep track of days and months, but we had several thousand people sign up for auto renewal, which is easy for our members as well as a little more manageable for the staff. So, but we found a little less expensive way to do that with a different payment processor. So that was just released within the last 6 weeks. So again, we're going to be on a campaign asking those folks who originally signed up for auto renewal to re-sign themselves up again. So that's one thing that is definitely on our list. A couple other highlights before I talk rally is most of you know we did close on the building next door. So the next phase will be to reach out to talk to I'm calling design. I know that's not exactly the term, but to talk about what we can do to remodel it and make it as efficient as we can in that space. Also, as you all know, that we just recently decided the changes for the Blue Beret and publication schedule. So we'll be going to actually 4 print versions throughout the year. We just finalized that with the EC on the schedule. So our team is working on revamping all of our advertising packages, programs. And so it's going to be a mix of just not print, but as well digital. And then also, with that, to reach out to all of our contributors, whether it's region folks that contribute, standing chairs. So we will be getting that information out to them on the new schedule so they know when things are due. So along with the changes in the print, you'll also be seeing that the months that we do not print, we will be having the Blue Beret Bulletin, which basically is electronic newsletter. I'm super excited to get that going. And then all of that content, when it goes out to folks, will end up living on our blog. So if you guys have not visited the blog yet, please do, because it's a lot of great information for our members and things of that nature. So that's kind of the happenings of HQ. As for the rally, Rock Springs, for those that were there and those who were not there, that was an amazing rally. It's the highest attendance we've had in 20 years. For those who don't know, the rally committee is an amazing team. I'm so privileged to be part of them. And along with some staff members, we have Debbie Wood that is, we call her our queen. She's the main lead on our rally committee. So we have Debbie Wood. We have, of course, myself, Christy Yanyan, Amanda Hughes, as well as Eric is on that committee. We just asked Bob Hoffman and Wayne Clark to become permanent parts because they have done so much work for us. It's a lot of things you guys don't see. It happens in the background. So that team is working very hard now for Sedalia. But Rock Springs, we did do an exit survey. All of that information, as Eric mentioned, is in Board Effect. It has all the open-ended questions. But one of the things that we did learn that are instead of trying to organize that big meal of crappy food, and be honest with you, it's not easy to feed 2,500 people. We can't meet everybody's dietary needs. So Rock Springs, we did the change to change your chamber bucks and or gift certificates, so they could eat from the food truck if they wanted to. They could go to town and eat someplace, or they could use it in the merchant. So we got a lot of positive feedback on that. So we're excited, and we're going to continue to try to mirror that program rallies to come. One of the other things that came out of that exit survey is people were very interested in going back to Rock Springs. So we will be looking at that. Anywhere between 4 to 6 years. That venue we feel is in a great location, right? It's the launching point to so much amazing sites out west. So we will be looking more into that. Sedalia's launched August 1st, our registration, and already 24 days in, we're up to 700 registrations. So we're super excited about that. And the team will be in Sedalia in October to finalize all of our, all of our plannings and things of that. So I believe that is all I have right now. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Lori, I do. It's Florence. 2 questions. The conversion of the payment platform, is that something that perhaps in the future regions and maybe even local clubs could use? And is there an advantage to like a huge club like us all using one, so that we're not all paying individual PayPal fees? And in the essence of time, my second question is an item that you, I don't think, mentioned. It's about international officer flags. are you asking that region presidents update our region flags with you? Not sure.
Okay, so two questions. So the two things there, Florence, definitely. So we moved to Stripe because it's a little more user friendly. It's less expensive to process. We are still in the infant stages of them, but absolutely, I could see a larger platform with them with regions and clubs. As for region, so two questions. So region flags that come from international, when the new presidents take office, somebody from HQ will contact you to find out if you guys need extra flags. And if so, that is an expense of the region. And then outgoing region presidents will receive a flag as a commemorative gift. And we typically reach out to them and ask them what logo and stuff they want on the standard international flags. As for regional flags, like I know Region 10, you have your own logo and stuff. So that is something y'all manage within your region. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Any questions for HQ? If not, you guys got my email, give me an email and I will get back to you as soon as I can. All right, Eric?
Thanks, Lori, and thanks for staying up quite late last night to that.
Yeah, that was rough. I got to tell you guys that staying up to 11 o'clock is way past my bedtime. So way past.
All right. If you could please bring in Barb Darian. She's going to give the item 5.2 and item 5.1. The quarterly financial update has already been effectively submitted by Pear. All right.
Yep, I just asked for her. Here she comes. Okay, Barb, when you're in, let us know. And
I'm upside. There I am.
okay, hand over to you. All right.
Okay.
International Membership Committee report. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So I prepared a quick presentation. I'm going to go through this fairly quickly for you and just let me know if you have any questions. But the first thing I want to do is thank you guys for the opportunity to work with every one of you in your regions to engage and enhance our members' experience. It's a daunting task, but I'm pretty sure I'm up for it in some way. So it's been a kind of a busy month for me. Aside from being on the same caravan that Pear's on, I've been working on getting a group of people who are incredibly committed and passionate about this club on the membership committee. And you can see their names. And I apologize to Lisa Anchor for mistyping her name. I thought I had proof this, but I'm certainly sorry. But for anybody who knows any of these people, you know that they all share an incredible passion for this club. We've done a couple things. We've drafted our charter and sent it up to EC for discussion and review and approval. So we hope to get that approved quickly. And I think having this committee chartered is an important step in making sure that we understand what you expect of us and what you expect us to deliver. We've had a meeting, kind of like herding cats initially, because it's a lot of passion in this group about how we can improve and work collaboratively together. The other, sorry. Yeah, I just lost there we are. So the other thing I want to make a point of is that this committee scope aligns heavily with a lot of other committees and activities that are going on under the purview of the IBT and within HQ. And my hope is that all the chairs and leads of all of these activities just reach out to me for discussion with the membership committee. I have a lot of commitment from the group to make them point people for certain types of things, such as technology, web redesign, club activities and rallies. So just simply reach out to me and I'll find you a contact who can then bring your information back to our committee, and we can take almost an assessment of what we think it will do with member engagement and member satisfaction. So that's it on the membership committee. The other thing that I have responsibility for is the Explore Program Liaison Group, or the Member at Large Liaison Group. And what I'm doing is I'm folding that up underneath the main committee. It's a subcommittee now of the main committee. And its priority right now is to create a contact roadmap. So for those of you who are interested, what we do today is I receive a report weekly from HQ. I parse that out to the region liaisons who have all been confirmed for the upcoming next year. And then they send out a customized form email that highlights activities in the regions and clubs in their geographic area. What we want to do is we want to dovetail that with HQ. We want to make sure that what we are doing aligns with the club's overall marketing strategy, the communications that we do, the logos that we use, the messaging that we use. And then we want to not just leave these members after an email, we want to engage with them over time. So there is a subcommittee of the liaisons working on that draft contact timeline. And I'm really excited about that. Again, this group very passionate about the influx of these now 66 members from this particular program. But we also have members coming in from dealership programs and just members at large that select member at large when they first enroll. So that's our charter kind of for the next month or so. Anybody got any questions? Are we good?
Any questions? Thanks, Barb. I really appreciate it.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for the opportunity again. Just call me anytime.
All right. Thanks, Barb.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item, 5.3 is ban on proxy voting. I understand that Brad Briggs is going to present and discuss this on behalf of Tom. I think we're trying to get you in, Brad, so I'm not sure what's going on. Lori?
Yeah, Brad, if you see a request to promote you, please accept it. Here he comes. He's on his way in. Thank you.
Hey, Brad, let us know when you're fully there. We see you coming in.
Okay.
There you are.
Hello, everyone. I want to thank you for the opportunity to do this. And I'm sorry, I'm grossly unprepared to speak on this. I realize that the, I think it was the Ontario Club wants to bring in the proxy voting. No, I'm grossly unprepared for this. I apologize. Can somebody fill in for me?
What we can do is that we're all also, we didn't know if you'd be able to make it or not. We can either Terry or Lori read the motion and talk to it. You can kind of give some background. Would that work out better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, all right. Terry or Lori, Grassy, your hands up before Terry goes. What are your thoughts?
Well, I was just going to explain that this is from the Vintage Airstream Club, that they want to be able to use proxy voting, and former CBL Chair Smithson had prepared this motion kind of as in the transition between chairs.
Okay, Terry, why don't you read the motion and we'll kind of figure out if we can make our way through this today.
Okay, this is motion 2023-41. Motion maker Tom Smithson, titled Ban Proxy Voting of Any Kind. Summary: this motion is to codify in WBCCI bylaws a ban on proxy voting of any type by a local or intra-club or international board of trustees to guarantee the right of a member to cast only their own individual ballot in any situation where voting is required. So motion, I move the WBCCI bylaws Article 6 Club Organization Section 5 be deleted in its entirety and a new Section 5 be inserted. How much of this do you want me to read?
Okay, first of all, no second is required because it comes from a standing committee. So I would just say read the purpose and impact first, and then we'll go to questions and comments.
Okay. Purpose and impact. The purpose of this motion is to guarantee that no form of proxy voting is permitted by any local or interclub. This ensures that any vote taken by such entities represent the actual vote cast by the individual member.
Okay, any financial impact?
I do not see, there is no financial impact.
Okay, let's open it up to the exec council first. I'll grab you first, Brad, and then we'll see if any questions or comments. All right, Brad, first of all.
So again, I want to apologize for not being prepared, but I do want to make mention that it is highly recommended that an organization like ours does not have proxy voting. And that's where this is coming from. Thank you.
Thanks. Let me just segue to first, just to make sure everyone understands, is Lori Grassi, could you just describe what proxy voting is and what we're stepping away from and kind of, thank you.
Well, the short version of proxy voting is allowing someone else to vote on your behalf. In Robert's Rules of Order, there's a specific type of designation that gives the right to do that if bylaws allow for it. In this case, the example given by Vintage Airstream Club, to my understanding, is that it didn't really meet the terms outlined in Robert's Rules of Order. So former Chair Smithson has proposed this motion.
And so if proxy voting is not allowed, again, just to make sure everyone understands what this is all about, what is the method for voting?
They would need to vote either by electronic ballot or paper ballot in the same way that the rest of the club votes now.
Thank you. All right. And this kind of mirrors what we did 2 years ago for our large organization, where we used to have delegates meeting and now we went to direct voting. So this is really about making that across the organization. All right. Other questions, comments, Jenny?
I just have what brought this about? What's going on that they felt that a specific interest club felt they needed to pursue this?
You know, we don't have Tom here. We may not have the ability to have that question answered. I think I just asked that we, I think if you understand the topic before the board, which is to ban proxy voting, I think we take action on that at this point. Other questions or comments from the board? All right, I do not see any hands raised from the exec, so the region VPs. Do you, Lori? Either Lori's?
No, I don't see anybody's hand raised.
Okay, so we're ready to vote on this now. So without disagreement, or with consent, this motion will pass as stated. Is there any consent? Is there any disagreement with having this move ahead directly as is? So without objection, this motion passes. Any objections? Alrighty, so pass. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Lori, G, and thank you, Jenny. And we'll talk about this some more. I think that when we roll this out, things that are written in legislative language often are hard to understand what the intent is. And so I think when we write this up, we'll need to talk about what this means for local clubs. I don't think it affects many clubs, but we'll have to just clarify sort of, okay, either vote in person or vote electronically, but not through a delegate. All righty, thank you. Next, we're going to go to Jenny. Unfinished business, item 7.1, just to tee it up. In our last, I don't know, board meeting or something, we had a lot of deliberation and ultimately passed the direction for the annual directory, but we wanted to make sure that we got it right. And so I asked for interest in joining onto a special committee to take a look at the annual directory and options around printing, not printing, distribution, things like that. I think that Ginger will admit that we caught her in a weak moment, but she did a phenomenal job. You could talk about your team and the process you follow and your recommendations, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, I was the one that was the squeaky wheel in May, and since then, so of course I got on there. This committee was formed after the passage of motion 2023-37, the update methods for publication for the club directory and Blueberry print Blueberry. And so there was a proviso saying that after the passage of the motion, a special committee would be formed, and that is what happened. The committee members included President Eric McHenry, Corporate Manager Lori Plummer, Region 6 President Jan Hebner, Region 7 President Ginger Slattery, Historical Committee Standing Chair Joe Peplinski, Executive Council Member John Becker, and Region 7 Immediate Past President Jane Carmichael. The committee recognizes that most members have access to and are online, but we do have members who are not online, whether by choice or accessibility. Those are the members who and there are those members who prefer to have a hard copy of the directory. The committee met twice, on July 17th and on August 3rd. At the first meeting, much discussion ensued regarding content of the printable directory, as well as the type of paper cover binding to be used. 3 possible types of directories were discussed, including what we called a truck version. It was smaller in size and greatly reduced content in the hopes it would also have a much less cost. Then there was another version that had a little bit more information, and the third version would be what the current directory is now in size and content. At the second meeting, Lori brought in the pricing. She based it on ordering 500 directories. Surprisingly, the truck version was only $12 per copy less than what the full version would be. She also stated other issues driving up the printing costs include cost of ink, cost of paper, supply chain issues of getting paper, and the ever increasing postage. There have been 2 increases this year, and there will be 2 more in January and July of next year in postage. Another issue is the large number of printed directories that are not used and end up being recycled. Between 2022 and 2023, thousands of unused membership directories were recycled. Taking all these variables into account and knowing change is never easy, the special committee makes the following recommendations. That there be a downloadable PDF version, which would be updated quarterly and remain free. The printed membership directory will be much the same as it is now in size and content. Members who want the hard copy will have to help cover the costs associated with production and mailing. The price will be around $45 with the final cost posted on the website. There is a stipend left in the budget to help deflect some of these costs. Lifetime members would receive the same discount they currently receive on all club purchases, and members will be required to pre-order the directory through the club website or by calling Jackson Center office so that we can get a more accurate number of how many directories we would need. Also, Kathy Giese, as an addendum to what we've already written, Kathy Giese had asked about online printing, and I couldn't remember having the discussion. But she did check into some pricing for online printing possibilities. The first company she looked at gave her a price of $75 per copy plus the shipping fees and taxes. That was using FedEx and UPS. She also looked at Office Max and Office Depot. They both came in around $50 per copy. If it was picked up at the store, if it's mailed, then there, of course, there would be more shipping and handling costs. So that's what we came up with. Any questions?
Why don't you manage as part of it, Ginger? I see that Kathy has her hands up and then Terry, but go ahead and talk through it.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Yeah, my only concern in what you and I talked about and why I looked into the online printing, those are for one-offs. So we have new members joining every day. And so if somebody comes in and they want a hard copy one, I just wanted to get some information together that was in fact possible and that they could take their file and send it to somebody and get it done and mailed back to them, or pick it up at Office Depot or Office Max. So I was not suggesting that we have 500 printed by these. I think having it done in Jackson Center is a great idea. This is just for the new members that would join after this has been done. And my apologies if I missed it, but we're going to ask people to pre-order it and pay for it that want it. Okay. All right. I brain faded there for just a bit. Okay. Thanks, Ginger. Appreciate very much the work you've done on behalf of your members.
Oh, thank you, Kathy. Thank you for your help. And thanks to everybody on the committee, because everybody had a lot of really good suggestions and there was a lot of good discussion. So.
Okay, so Terry's got her hand up.
Terry.
So Ginger, here's a question. So if it's $50 to have somebody print it at excuse me, Home Depot or Office Depot or or a similar location, would that then take the office out of the loop and allow this to happen individually? I mean, for $5 more, I wonder, and Lori, what are your thoughts about that?
Ginger, I don't know if you want me to jump in there. So
Oh, yes, please do.
So the number that we quoted, the $45 is us, that was based on printing 500 directories, because that's what I'm kind of guesstimating is what our members is where we'll be. As we finalize the content and I talk to several of our printing resources, we will be able to narrow down that dollar amount. The online version or the print version, one of the things recommended is there will be a downloadable PDF version. So if somebody could either print the 260 pages themselves through their printer if they want to, and or as Ginger mentioned and Kathy mentioned, that somebody could possibly send that to an Office Depot or Staples or a UPS store and have them print it for them. So that's the kind of the difference there. Again, as we get more into this and finalize, and as we talk to our printers, we can really narrow down some of these price points.
So I wonder, do you still want headquarters to be involved in this rather than people taking their PDF to an outside source? I mean, wouldn't that?
Well, I think, let me just clarify. I think what Lori said and Ginger said is that the process will be, correct me if I'm wrong, Ginger, is that there'll be something sent out from HQ saying, if you want this in a couple of months, pre-order it. And then based on those pre-orders, Lori will order some to be printed and they'll be mailed out from HQ to the people that pre-ordered them.
Correct.
Later, if someone else wants one, there's an option of them printing it out themselves, waiting for the next pre-order batch, if there is one, or sending it to an offline printer like Office Depot. I think that summarizes the approaches, right?
Right. And the pre-order is going to be done in January. So it's only going to happen once a year.
Yeah, so Terry, I think all options will be on the table. So we will service our members, be able to do the pre-order, and then those that maybe miss that pre-order or decide they want it printed themselves, they'll have that option as well.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Ginger.
Hey, Ginger, you've got Ty's hand up and you have Florence's hand up.
Okay. Who was first?
Ty.
I was.
Hi.
Yeah. So we're going to do 4 Blue Berets a year, plus the directory will cost, except for the online version, won't cost anybody anything. Am I understanding this right?
Correct.
Okay.
But they don't pay for the Blue Beret, the printed Blue Beret. This would just be the directory.
Yeah, the directory will no longer be free. That's either an online version or they got to pay for a copy of the directory. So we totally got it.
Unfortunate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Florence?
Yeah, I'm scrolling through here. I lost the line. Oh, here it is. So there is a stipend left in the budget to help deflect some of the costs. So we will be subsidizing, in effect, part of the cost for the requests of printed directories.
I'll defer that one to Mr. McHenry.
Yeah, let me just remind. So when we did the budget adoption, we left a certain amount in there, 10K, something like that. I don't remember what it was, to help with this. And so, yes, that's exactly right. When Lori comes up with a cost to print 500 or 200 or wherever that happens to be, we can use that budgeted amount to offset that cost and pass that savings on to our members. I think that's
And so we will be doing that until that line item budget is depleted.
Yeah, that line item is just the end of this fiscal year. So it'll be a 1-year thing unless we decide to, extend that. So for example, if it's, I don't know, right. If there's 500 and we have $10,000 and it's $5 decrease, right? So in cost.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ginger, any other
Yes.
you wanted to add?
Well, like the whole process in the last year, this is going to be the first time we're doing this. And so we'll see after January how much demand there really is for the printed version. So, and then, we can make other decisions after that. So this is going to be a shot in the dark anyway. But this way we can at least make sure those members who want or need a printed directory can obtain it. So,
Okay, so we have one more question from the board, John Becker, and we have one question from the audience, John Hawley. So John, be patient. What's going to happen is that John Hawley is that when we get to you, we'll bring you in audio only, and you'll be able to have your comments max 3 minutes. All right, John Becker. Or, I'm sorry,
I
Ginger.
just wanted to let the board know as well that the committee, we have a draft communication to members that explains the rationale, the increasing costs we faced, et cetera, and how it will work. And we started it. There's been some edits, but that's something also that the committee can share with the board, because I do think then it makes sense to see, well, this is what a member is going to see from a communication standpoint about the decision.
Okay, are we ready for Mr. Hawley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the topic. This is the section of, do we have any questions or comments from region VPs? So John Hawley.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I remember when we first discussed this, there was a question of cost, and what came up was not only people that don't have email and so forth to get it, but a lot of people felt that because we're paying dues, all this should be included in the dues cost. Are we in fact telling people now that this is going to be eliminated? There will be an additional cost if they want a directory is no longer included in their dues payment? Or how are we handling that to smooth that effort out about the club?
Ginger, do you want to, or John, one of you, this will be in the communication.
well, that'd be a good one to put in what John had written about why are we making a change. The club prints an annual directory and distributes it to all club members. The directory contains significant historical information on club leadership, as well as current information on members. However, we have two issues with the current practice. The cost to print, handle, and mail the directory has significantly increased, particularly the cost of paper. Additionally, after discussions with our printers, we expect these costs to continue to increase in the future. We must decide how many copies to print in advance, and we often end up with many more copies than we need if members don't want the printed directory. This is an unnecessary expense and is wasteful to have to recycle or dispose of extra copies. So what will we do? We're going to ask you to pre-order a printed version of the directory if you still want one. The information in the printed directory will be largely the same as it is now. You will have to pay for this printed version. Lifetime club members will receive the same discount they currently receive on club purchases. The cost, will be around $45, depending on how many are ordered. Pre-ordering approach should allow us to print what we need for our members, and we will allow members to pre-order through club website or calling the Jackson Center office. We are also going to make the directory available in downloadable, searchable PDF file to members. This should work on a variety of devices since it is downloadable. It won't require an active connection to the internet to view. Change is rarely easy, but we are trying to manage a significant and rising expense to the club, reduce waste, accommodate members who prefer a hard copy or need a hard copy, as well as members who would prefer an electronic version. So.
Thanks, Ginger. All right. Any other?
I agree with the changes. I don't think that's it. I think we just are dealing with a bit of a PR problem with some of our members. So that something we just need to be careful with, I believe. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, John.
Okay, Ginger, I'm going to close this section unless you have any other questions or comments, or anyone else on the board. All right. Thank you, Ginger and the team. I know you guys put a lot of work into this. Thank you for doing the breakout work, and great job. And again, more communication will come out. We understand that it needs to be communicated, but we've got some time because it doesn't happen until December, January. All righty. So now we go to public comment. And so we have multiple ways of getting in public comment. We have a web form, which people type things into. We got 3 or 4, which didn't seem they needed to be in here. It was questions that were probably from last night. We had 2 comments come in written, and those are in your agenda items 8.1, 8.2. So those are there for your reading. Do we have any other public comment, Lori, Pike by Lori Plummer that came in from members or anyone raising their hand in the audience?
No other comments came in.
All right, thank you. Next up is we're going to go on to next on the agenda. We have no consent items. Under new business, we have a motion 2023.40. Kathy Giese changed to add maple leaves and stars. All right, over to you, Kathy.
Yes, and thank you, Mr. President. I'm presenting this on behalf of the Alberta Saskatchewan Airstream Club, but it's actually been a lot of interest from all of our Canadian members. This is a motion to add maple leaves as an official recognition of 5 years of membership to policy 4.12.4 and policy 16.6.10, Airstream number release policy, Airstream number and decal display and placement on Airstream. Item 5. Would you like me to do the purpose and impact next?
If you could read the motion, please, and then we'll see if we have a second.
Okay, the motion is I move that WBCCI policy 4.12.4 membership stars.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. And policy 16.6.10 Airstream number and decal display and placement on our Airstream, item 5 be deleted, and that a new policy 4.12.4 and policy 16.6.10 section D, item 5 be inserted.
All right, do we have a second for the motion?
Second, Florence.
All right, thank you. Okay, go ahead then and read purpose, impact, and background and financial impact, and Kathy, and then we'll go to comments and questions.
Thank you. The addition of red maple leaves as an official designation of 5 years of membership in WBCCI adds pride to Canadian units and clubs, as do the stars, which represent the USA members. Background: the Alberta Saskatchewan Canada Airstream Club at their spring meeting held on May 21st, 2023, unanimously passed a motion to submit to Region 10 that 2-inch red maple leaves be added as another official recognition of 5 years of Canadian membership in the WBCCI. At a Region 10 meeting held on July 3rd, 2023, the region unanimously passed a motion to submit the proposal to the IBT. Financial impact: there will be a setup cost to add the maple leaf as an official recognition similar to that of the red stars.
Do we have an estimate of what that financial impact is?
I'm going to defer to Lori on that one.
Lori.
I don't have an exact dollar amount, but it'll be minimal. It's just a matter of setting it up on our plotter.
Yeah, you guys print them, you guys cut them there yourself, don't you? You don't send them out to do.
Right.
All right, thank you. Let's go to comment from the board. I see Jim Cock, Jenny, Ginger, and Pear.
All right, I'll go first. All right. As the grandfather of several Canadian children, I'm supportive of this. I'm almost an honorary Canadian with all the time I've spent there. However, 2 issues. One, I don't see anywhere in this motion that addresses whether you must be a member of Alberta Saskatchewan or of a Canadian local club or a Canadian yourself in order to fly the red maple leaves in lieu of stars. The second is a little bit more of just a concern. Does this set a precedent? What's the unintended consequence of us going from just stars to now stars and red maple leaves? What's next? I'm in favor of this, but I just raised that question. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Kathy, do you want to get all comments and respond in totality or respond each one?
Sure.
All right, so Jenny, and then Ginger, and then Pear.
Thank you. I would just like to clarify that, are we asking for these maple leaves in addition to the stars or in replacement of the stars? In other words, will the trailer show both stars and leaves?
No. This is on behalf of Canadians.
I understand that. It's written that they are in addition to the stars. So for a Canadian wanting to fly them, they are not also flying with this.
No,
I mean,
this is an option in lieu of using the stars.
In lieu of the stars. Okay. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Jenny. Ginger, and then Pear.
Okay, at the end of July, I had the opportunity to go up to Toulon, Manitoba for a rally with our Canadians. And I did mention to them that this motion was going to be brought up and wanted to get their feedback. And I was a little blown away by how emphatic they were that they absolutely are not in favor of this. We are one club. They want the stars, and they didn't want anything that could be divisive in any way. So that was their take on it, is that they were not in favor of. You mean the Canadians don't all agree on everything? Come on. So that was their take on it. So thank you.
Thanks, Ginger. Per and then Ty.
Yeah, I'm supportive of this idea. I just wanted to point out that the reality of decals and plastic like this, I see the stem of this leaf. This is going to be a project to put onto a trailer. If you get it wrong a little bit, you can tear the little stem off. So maybe as a input to the design, they have to sacrifice a little bit of their pride and maybe make the stem a little thicker, or else it's going to be a real problem to apply. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Per. Ty.
I don't see anything in this that will have, if they already have stars on their trailer, are we having them take the stars off and putting all maple leaves on it? Or are they going to be a mixture of stars and leaves on the trailers? There's nothing to prevent that from happening. And I think that's something that needs to be addressed in this.
So, okay, so I think that, Kathy, would you be willing to accommodate that in motion language, that this is not intended to have both, but one or the other?
Absolutely. And to answer Ginger's question, we are not telling Canadians they have to use maple leaf stars. My patriotic Canadians that are west of the Rockies want the maple leaves. You guys east of the Rockies, you go for it.
Okay, thanks, Ty. Okay, Stephen Parr.
Yeah, there was a good point that was brought up. Say Europe and Britain comes back under the fold and they want their own significant symbol for 5 years. Where is this actually going to stop? Because I think it's going to be setting a real bad precedent.
Well, I think from a policy or bylaw standpoint, Stephen, it stops with the board. You know, it's hard to predict what other countries may choose to do, but it has to come to this board first for approval. So y'all would have the options of saying yes or no. It really is that, I think. It's up to you guys.
Right. Well, I just see it's a
yeah, you kind of dropped off, but I think we got that. Okay, Terry.
I'm not clear why that would be a bad precedent. I mean, is it really that complicated to make a different recognition for people in other parts of our membership? I'm not sure why that's such a bad precedent myself.
Well, it's just one club. And now we want to segregate it to different countries. That's another precedent.
Stephen, if I can jump in there, it is one club, but we use stars which are directly aligned with the US flag. Why would we not allow Canadians to use the maple leaf, which is a symbol of their flag? Are we saying to them only our flag's important? I don't think we want to go down that road.
Well, I agree, but it's a red star, and the red star used to be USSR. This star has nothing to do with our flag.
I would say that I think if you would ask most people what they identify a red star with, they would say the US flag. Most of our members would.
Okay, because I can, go the other way.
Yeah,
Red star means Russia.
So are you suggesting we use the red star? I'm sorry.
No, I'm suggesting we just leave it the way it is.
So let's get some more comment on the board, and then we're going to go to a vote. So Jim's Cox next, and then Florence, and then Per, and then Ty. And I'm going to bring this to a vote at some point because, that's kind of how we decide. Jim?
I've already spoken. I would like to come back and recheck, but let me let Flo and Per go before me because they haven't spoken.
All right, Florence.
Florence, I'm sorry. Florence.
Thank you, Jim. You used your one shot at Flo. This is kind of, I'm flashing back to all those talks about BRNs this winter. I I think the fact that anyone from any country, should we expand or I bring back our international program in Europe and Asia, anyone who wants to show off with pride that they've been a member for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever it be, I think we should embrace that. And I don't see a problem with setting a bad precedent. And if someone wants to, it makes people like, hey, what does that mean? Boom, you get to talk about the club. That's all I got.
Okay, let's take 2 more comments and I'm going to take it to vote. And then I will ask Kathy if you want to take it to vote or you want to pull it, go through further discussion. But let's take 2 more comments. It looks like that's Jim and then Pear, or Pear and Jim. I'm not sure. My screen says Jim and then Pear.
All right, I'll go. I don't think that this is a bad precedent. I just wanted to raise the question, and we've had good discussion on it. I like the comments that came back about, anything that symbolizes my 5 years of membership is valid. Somebody might come along, some intra-club, and say, hey, we want to do a circle. I'd be fine with that too. So I'm in favor of this. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jim. Pear?
I think it kind of got indirectly covered earlier, but this is only a symbol that you have paid your dues 5 years in a row. So, I mean, you haven't even volunteered, you haven't done nothing. So I don't think it's a big deal. I'm fine with it being, we allow other symbols of recognition and to start a conversation like what was mentioned earlier.
Okay, thanks, Pear. So Kathy, I'm going to bring this back to you. And as motion maker, you have a couple of choices. One, to take it to vote, or to defer it to a discussion with region presidents or more collaboration offline. Which is your preference?
I think I'm comfortable. And we just have to be a 50% majority, correct?
Yeah.
What do we need? Okay. Yeah, I think we take it to a vote. I don't want this to turn into another big red number that goes on for a solid year. So.
All right, thank you. So the motion as stated, I'm not going to reread it. Y'all know what it is. Without objection, the motion passes. Is there objection?
Actually, Eric, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is this technically a bylaws change?
I don't remember which one I have in front of me. Well, let's assume it is. So
it's policy.
Okay, if it's bylaws, you need a 2/3 vote, otherwise majority.
Just before we do this, can you confirm, Kathy, it's policy, not bylaws?
It's policy.
All right, great. Policy, 50% vote. Okay, without objection, this passes. Do I see an objection? Ginger, is that you? Objection? Okay, so now we'll go to roll call. Terry, if you could go through the roll call, please, and record votes. Hang on a second. Ty, was your hand up for, I don't want to skip over you.
No, it was up for objection on it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I don't want to go too fast, so I'm just trying to slow down a bit, but I think we're moving into a vote. So Terry, you could do a roll call vote, please, and tally the votes.
I would be happy to. Region 10 President Florence Tremoni. It's yes or no on the motion.
Yep, sorry, looking for the button. Yes.
Region 9 President Nancy Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Region 8 President Rick Everson.
Yes.
BC member Jenny Schlettler.
Yes.
Jan Hevener, Region 6 President.
Yes.
EC member John Becker.
Yes.
Me, yes. Millie O'Donnell, Vice President.
She stepped off the call. She's absent.
Okay. She said she was going to do that. Sorry. EC member Jim Cock.
Can I proxy vote for Millie? Just kidding.
Good one.
Vote yes. I vote yes.
Region 2 President Gary Russo.
Yes.
Region 11 President Stephen Parr.
You're mute.
Yes.
EC member Marcia House.
Yes.
Region 4 President Fred Keel.
You're muted.
Mr. Keel, are you muted?
If you can't, Fred, oh, there you go.
Yes.
Yes, you're muted, or yes, your vote is yes.
Voting yes.
EC member Kathy Giese.
Yes.
Region 1 President Bart Fuller,
Yes.
Region 7 President Ginger Slattery,
No.
Treasurer Per Hamquist,
Yes.
Immediate Past President Ty Mott,
No.
Region 3 President Christine Baum,
Yes.
Region 12 President Abe Hernandez,
Yes.
Region 5 President Artie Martin. Is Artie with us?
I think we lost Artie.
Okay. Okay, so we have 2 noes, the rest yes, the motion passes.
All right, thank you, Kathy. Thank you, board. All right, thank you. So moving on, the next thing we're going to region business. But first, though, before we do region business, we have a tradition that we use every year, do every year as part of our bylaws, where incoming region presidents, they get offered a one-time offer to select a 200 series number. And so we have, I think, 4 that have selected they want one. Lori, I'm going to hand it to you to talk about the process we use.
Awesome.
With the numbers.
All right, so the process is we have Fred Keel, Jan Havner, Florence Triboni, and Abe Hernandez that would all like a new 200 number. So each one of your names is in this little bucket. I don't know if you can see this little bucket. So whoever gets the name called first then gets to pick the number. And I'll share a screen here so you can see what available numbers is. So everybody game on that? Everybody know what's happening there? Too bad this wasn't the lottery numbers last night. So Fred Keel, you are the first one that gets to pick a number. And I am going to share this screen. And these are the 200 numbers that are available. Which one would you prefer?
203.
203.
Hey, Fred, you don't have to, but was there any rationale? I'm always curious why people pick certain numbers.
I'm hoping that the 0 fits around my camera so I can center the numbers.
Love it. I'm glad I asked.
Good thinking, Fred. So we also can change the size of your numbers if need be. We will definitely help you work around that camera. Second one up is Miss Jan. What number would you like?
I would like 289.
289. Is there any history with that number, ma'am?
The only history is my number now is 23289 Beatrix, and it's BTX, which is Beatrix.
Perfect. Love it.
I love how you think, Jan. I love how you think.
Next up, I didn't shape these very well. Next up is Florence.
I'm going to go with 244 because I can remember that 2 times 2 is 4.
Love it. And Abe, sir, what would number interest you?
Is Abe muted, I think? Okay,
Totally.
there we go. There we go.
I'll take 273, please.
273.
All
Awesome.
right. Region 12 president. There you go, man. Any particular reason why 273?
Born in 73.
All right. So I just have to say thank you to all of, we're not ending, but just thank you and the incoming region presidents. I think for people who may be watching remote, they may not understand this is a lot of work y'all put into this. This is all of you guys. So thank you for contributing. It means a lot.
So just to wrap this up, Eric, the HQ team will reach out to each one of you. Our standard number size is 6-inch. If you would need to alter that because of backup cameras, whatever it's going on with your rig, the team will reach out to you, then we'll get those cut and sent out to you.
Thanks, Lori. Okay, before we close or go into the next section, Terry, your hands up.
Is Rick Everson not getting a different number?
Correct. He did not opt into one.
Yeah, that is correct. We have a number on everything we own already.
All right, thank you. Just wanted to make sure.
All right, thank you. So let's go into region updates. And what I typically do here is just ask, hey, what's going on? And not necessarily your region rallies, but if you want, but any interesting things you'd like to share with your peers. And I think we'll just sort of go backward. So we'll start with Region 12, Abe.
Yes, thank you. And congratulations to you and the new EC for the next term. I'd like to thank my members for giving me the opportunity. I'm sure I will do the best job that we can. Thank you to our past president, Laverne. She did an awesome job, and we're going to follow her steps and continue to do good work for our members. We have a region rally in October with 150 rigs. We are excited to, this is the first time that happens with the new organizing committee, which is a great setup we have. We have 2 members for each club involved, and it's been working really great. We also have a rally site committee looking for our sites. We are working on, probably we have next year, it's all set up. We're going to probably get another year as well on the calendar. We're trying to get our rallies posted at least 12 months before. I highly recommend this rally committee, you guys. It works really well, and they take turns, and they get them really. I'm really proud of that. And also, I wanted to say that I wanted to contribute to that committee with Christine. I just wanted to say that. And also, I want to just real quick with John Becker, I'm thinking about doing a caravan to Mexico and Baja. So I'll be picking up your brain. I will be picking your brain soon, and hopefully we can get it done. So thank you everybody for the opportunity, and hopefully we can get together and work better. And like somebody said there, at the end of the day, we can hang out and drink a beer. So
Thanks,
thank
Abe.
you.
Good to have you on the team, and I'll see you anyway personally, but remember, we're all going to be together in Jackson Center in March. All right, Region 11, Stephen, what's going on?
Yeah, just to bring up the 66 International Rally, we had 200 region members attend our region breakfast, and 120 members attend our mini rally that we had at the International Rally. And once again, I just want to reiterate, that was a great international rally. And to the people that put it on, thanks so much. Going into rallies, August through October, our 6 clubs and units currently have 14 rallies planned. So please view the airstreamclub.org website for any additional information on those rallies. And that's it from Region 11.
Stephen, thank you so much. And are you still keeping cool down there, or are you out of the area?
No, we're up in the White Mountains right now, so we're keeping cool. We're up by Sholo, but down there in the valley, 105 to 110.
Thanks, Ben. All right, Florence, Region 10.
Yeah, thank you. Really excited to be sitting with you all here. One thing that's kind of been fun putting together, and it's about to happen in a couple of weeks, I connected with Ted Davis, who owns, or now I guess CEO of 7 dealerships out here in my region, and approached him in Rock Springs about doing a informal video interview where we would talk about pretty much the Explorer program. He agreed, and we're going to do that in mid-September. And my goal with that is to disseminate it across, well, first in my region, and if it's any good, then further to just help members engage, know what the program is about so they can share it with new Airstream owners, and maybe to encourage dealerships across the country to get excited about this. Another thing is I've been talking a little bit with Abe, Region 12, about maybe doing a joint region rally. And I think things like this are ways for people not to have to wait for an international to connect with members not in their immediate area. So it's kind of a big undertaking because we are both really big regions. And then my last thing is I have a goal to maybe see what interest there is in our region to have more local caravans, shorter caravans that would be more approachable for folks, maybe a couple weeks. And we'll just see how how that evolves.
Lawrence, that's fantastic, and welcome to the team. And thank you for agreeing to work with Christine and the rest of the group on looping our election process. It's a lot of work, and so thank you for volunteering. All right, Region 9, I think, is next. Miss Nancy.
Hi. Well, remember September 14th, if you want to come to a big party in Galveston, that's our Streaming on the Strand, our big Mardi Gras party, our national event rally. Registration opens at 9 a.m. September 14th, and it goes fast. So, and if you want to be a cowboy, you can come join us in May 1st through May 5th for our region rally in Bandera. It's a blast. It's a wonderful place to visit if you are looking for a time and a place to visit in Texas. And another wonderful chance to visit Texas is check out our West of the Pecos. This is your ability to travel with a caravan and see Big Bend. Some people prefer to go with a group and have interpreters and guides. So that usually takes place in October. It's all full for this year, but thinking ahead, we'll help guide you through Big Bend if you want. And the last thing I'd like to say is I'm in the process of working with our team to update our Region 9 policies. And I've enjoyed reading our other region policies and bylaws. And I could say some were written by Supreme Court justices, it looks like, and some were written like maybe over a happy hour. We're all very different. It's not an easy process, especially with so many changes having been made in the last couple of years. If anybody's interested, if it's anything, I'd love to, would we want a model region bylaw policy? Would that ever work? Are we too diverse? Because it sure would make it easier. The other big thing about updating our region bylaws and policies is that, our international, our calendar has changed so drastically that it's really, it'd be great if anybody else wants to kind of talk about some of this, or if anybody's going through the same thing, just outlining the policies and the practices for our regions. It'd be great to talk to some other people about that, since we've made so many changes. And if you take a look at your policies, I bet a lot of them are outdated as well. But anyway, if anybody shoot me an email, if anybody wants to get in a discussion, we could maybe do a Zoom meeting or something and talk about it. I'm up for that. Anyway, that's what's happening in Region 9. Good to see everybody.
Thanks, Nancy. I know Christine is still on, so she leads a region president's forum. This may be something y'all choose to speak about there too in a little more detail. So, all right, Region 8, Mr. Everson. So you're ready for us to roll there in about a year, huh?
Getting ready. It's going to be a big undertaking. Everybody is really getting excited about it. We had a Region 8, our first Zoom meeting last night. It was well attended. Everybody's really got a bunch of ideas that they want to put forth, and Region 8 is just going to be excited as we get closer to this region rally. On a local, I guess more local note, Region 8 is currently, we're in the middle of all of our plans for our Region 8 rally in April. We're going down to ABC Campground in in Branson, Missouri. We're going to take in several shows. We're going to have some fun with some barbecues. And last time we did this, we had a great turnout, which was about 7 years ago. So we're going to do it again. We anticipate, I've got 70 sites locked down. We can expand that to more. By the way, Mr. Vadner was texting with me this morning and said to say hello. He's on a caravan right now, but he said he misses seeing everybody. And I think that pretty well covers it for right now.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks. And like I said, Rick and I talked yesterday, and we were all looking forward to heading out to Region 8 for a day. And you can't talk about it now, but they've got some really interesting ideas I was just so excited. So thanks, man. Appreciate it. Okay, Region 7, Ginger.
Hello. So mostly what's going on is some of our groups are winding down in September. We do have our Region 7 rally coming up, which is the first rally I've ever planned. So I have not slept since July. We have 30 Airstreams registered, which I'm pretty excited about that. And then after that, we only have, I think, one other rally in October. And then pretty much we Northerners are putting our silver Twinkies to bed for the winter. So we do, there's some holiday meetings that I know Wisconsin, Minnesota always have some luncheons and meet and greets that way during the winter months. So we don't necessarily rally with our Airstreams, we just rally together. So, but that's what's going on in Region 7.
Thanks, Ginger. By the way, I see your house in the background. If you ever get a chance to talk to Ginger about their house, it's flipping amazing. So at some point, I hope to see it. Jan, Region 6.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here with this group. It seems like it's been a long journey, but all of a sudden it's here and following Larry in his footsteps. And he did a fabulous job for our club, and I hope to do the same. In our area, we have learned that 3 words, extreme heat advisory, just means it's another day. I mean, it's just hot. We are burning up. We had no rain, but we're going to make it. And our clubs are still rallying. They're meeting, they're camping, they're going. This has not stopped them. But we're real excited for the next few months. We have the Region Rally coming up in Karen Crow, Louisiana. We have, I'm sorry? Oh, and we have Airstreams on the Square coming up in October. Streaming on the Gap is coming up. Fiddlers Rally, and then we have the Storytellers Rally. So in these next months, right here, it's so full and exciting that we have so much to do that others can get involved with and come and do it with us. There is a registration. They may be full this year, but keep it in mind for next year. Plus, we are taking reservations for our Eclipse Rally, which will be the Moon Shadow National event. And that will be in Morrilton, Arkansas. And I can get that information to you if you're interested. But overall, we're doing great. The clubs are healthy. They're happy. I've gone and stayed at one of the rallies with them and got to meet new people, and it was just really excited. So we just want to share our group with you. Y'all come join us anytime. We are welcoming everybody.
Thanks, Jan. And as I said, Laverne and I are rolling your way for the Eclipse Rally. We cannot wait, by the way. So that'll be really fun. All right, Fred, welcome. Oh, so I'm sorry, Artie, I believe, is not here. I believe.
Yeah, Artie's not online right now, no.
Okay, so we're skipping 5. And Fred, welcome. Good to see your face.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. So I'd like to start by thanking Brad Briggs and Karen Fisher, the past 2 Region 4 presidents that have mentored me, and they've included me in everything for the last 4 years. And I hope to be able to continue that with the new leadership behind me. So we've got 2 national rallies sponsored by Region 4. The first one will be the 60th annual Swiss Festival Rally next month. We still have about 10 spots left if anybody's interested. The second one will be in Darke County, Ohio, and that will be the Eclipse Rally, and we're down to about 100 spots left. So don't hesitate to get registered. And with that, I'm done. Thank you.
Thanks, Fred. Yeah. So how many spots do you think you're going to ultimately have? What's your guess for the Eclipse Rally? And I love it, Darke County.
We have 200 full hookup.
Wow. Wow. That's fantastic. I didn't ask Nancy, but Nancy also, I think, may have mentioned, I may have missed it, that there's a couple Eclipse rallies in her region because it's flying up through, things are starting in Texas, right? Coming up north. So.
Oh, yeah. 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 In North Tech, Intac at the Airstream Park there. And then I think Rich, Texas Alamo is gathering for one too.
Great. Thank you. All right, Christine, Region 3. Where'd you go?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are.
All right. I got to talk fast because I've got 1 minute before I got to go. Sorry. we had an incredibly successful Old Fiddlers Rally. It was the 87th annual Old Fiddlers Convention. It was the 23rd national, well, we now are called the National Event Rally. Had a wonderful time, really appreciated that cool weather and glorious music. There are numerous rallies, like other region presidents have said. Again, encourage always our clubs and other folks to join us and look at the website to get information on that. And finally, just to mention for the future, our Region 3 rally will be next April 17th at Meadow Event Park in Doswell. April's a glorious time to be in Virginia, not July. But the theme of it is streams and meadows. So come join us. Bye.
Thanks, Christina. We got you in before you had to run. All right. I think Gary, Region 2, how's it going? You're muted.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's a couple of things that I wanted to bring and highlight that's happening up in my region. First off, one of the first things I wanted to do is to get feet on the ground and start to visit the clubs that are in my area. So far, I've hit 3 of them. And one of the main things that I've been trying to stress as I go along is that the club members, they are the ambassadors of the Airstream. And I want to continue to stress that as I go from club to club, and to also talk to my presidents as I meet them to say that they are my first line of connection to the clubs that are in my area. I've got 14 of them. We do have a rally coming up in May of 2024. We've already identified the site, but we're still working through the contract with that site. And one of the things I did want to say is that I wanted to thank RJ for his initiation in doing team building. That was one of the things I'm continuing on. Right now, I've built I believe, a very strong team in Region 2. And from that, I want to use that as a jumping off point to connect with the club presidents so that they feel that they are part of the region and that they are an island unto themselves. That allows them to push ideas and thoughts up to me and use them as a bellwether going back down. So that's all I have at this point. Thank you.
That's fantastic, Gary. Welcome to the board and looking forward to working with you. Okay, Mr. Fuller, Region 1.
Hello, greetings. We're traveling around Alaska, so we're far away from our region, and I can't wait to get back in September. We will be back with a Quebec club and many of the New England groupings. We have some neat things happening next spring. We have a region rally gathering, which will be in the Brimfield area of Massachusetts. And this is the area where we have the biggest and the oldest of all the flea markets and all. So that's going to be one of our big highlights for next spring. But even bigger than that is what we're planning in 2025. We're going to try to get up and do a region rally in the Nova Scotia area. And we're going to try to do this in conjunction with the 70th anniversary of the club's inauguration of the club there in Kentville, Nova Scotia. And the folks up there, they're very enthusiastic, and hopefully we might even be able to entice them to create their own club in the New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Island area. They're right now in conjunction with the Quebec club, but we've got a lot of insight that maybe we just have enough Airstreams up there that we can do something in the Atlantic Maritimes. And this would be just wonderful, and to celebrate that with the 70th anniversary of our club. But that's what we're kind of working on. We've got a lot of things that we're going to try to pull off, but we're excited. Thank you.
Thanks, Bart. Hey, Ty, I apologize. I may have missed you, or maybe I missed you when we talked about exec council report. Did you have anything you wanted to add in as our honorary past international president?
Oh, I'm going to be working with the Classic Intra Club, but I've sent a message out to him and still waiting for a response back from him. But besides that, no, everything else is good. And like I said, on Mona's report, that's supposed to be dated August 23rd, not March 23rd.
Yeah, that was strange. I'll take it. We'll get that corrected. Thank you so much. Alrighty, y'all. So we actually, if you think about when we actually started the open meeting, we started 2 hours ago. So this is the goal, to keep the 2-hour IBT meetings, and we're going to try to hold to that. We're going to do that through trying to get the agenda roughed out ahead of time and get things lined up and no long items. So thank you all very much. I can't tell you how honored I am to, and pleased I am to work with y'all, sort of the legacy board members, the new incoming exec council, and the new region presidents. It's really, you guys are all great. All right, with that, the meeting is concluded, and have an all rest of the day. Good rest of the day. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.